It's been a while since I last uploaded, and the reason why is because I recently started a new job and the workload can be much, so I haven't really had the time and energy to actually sit down and make content that's enjoyable for you to watch. But I was on the Game Awards website casting my votes, and I normally don't do that at all. This is the first time doing it because I have some thoughts about the Game Awards. I've always felt like it was one of the most cringiest things I've ever seen, and in my opinion, I always felt like Jeff Keighley doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, but who am I to say anything that matters, right? I'm just a small YouTube channel. But I did make my votes, and as I was making my votes, I realized, hey, this could be a video for you guys to watch. So we're gonna go through some of the categories here, and I'm gonna explain to you the vote that I chose and why I chose that vote. I did see Beat 'em Ups do his video earlier. That kind of gave me the idea. So let's jump into this and see what we got for this year's nominees. So we're gonna start with best esports game, and I went with Call of Duty. Now, it wasn't really like which Call of Duty game, like Vanguard or Cold War. It was just Call of Duty in general. And the reason why I chose this one as best esports game is I never played Valorant, I never played Dota, I have no idea what Counter-Strike is, and I've played League of Legends before. It's just not for me. But I do play Call of Duty on an almost daily basis with my friends. We play on Xbox, we do private matches, public matches, zombies, sometimes we do Warzone, and I have a lot of fun with it. We have a lot of fun with it. We do our private matches as kind of a private tournament that we do, but it's also kind of like a combat training to get us to get better at the game. I've gotten much better because of those sessions, and I actually like playing Cold War, so that got my vote. I did play and enjoyed Modern Warfare. You know, the previous year we didn't try whatever the fucking new one. I already forgot the name of the new one. But yeah, we didn't try the new Call of Duty because it's been looking bad all over. I just said the name and I already forgot it, so that tells you something. Most anticipated game. Now I'm gonna start with Elden Ring. It didn't get my vote because I don't know much about it. I think I saw a trailer on it. I don't know if that's the game that I'm thinking of, but if it is what I'm thinking of, it might be Lord of the Rings Dark Souls. And if it is, it looks nice from what I saw, but I can't confirm if that's the game. I know I'm terrible. Starfield. Why didn't I choose Starfield? Well, it's a Bethesda title, so you know that they can either deliver on their promises, or their promises can just fall flat.
It allows us to have 16 times the detail.
Bullshit!
Not to mention, we really don't know much about this game either. All we know is that it's supposed to be kind of like a space Elder Scrolls. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I'm not putting that as most anticipated because a lot of times games that are far years apart could flop, or in some cases, very rarely, but in some cases, get canceled. So who knows? Breath of the Wild sequel. I am not the biggest Zelda fan. I didn't really enjoy my time with the first Breath of the Wild. I actually owned that game 3 different times throughout my lifespan with the Switch. It wasn't until the 3rd time I owned it that I actually kind of enjoyed it and made it to the end of the game and got the DLC. So I'm not too excited for Breath of the Wild, but if you are, that's okay. Horizon Forbidden West. I did not like Horizon Zero Dawn. I really don't like that shit. I had moments where I would rage quit and I would not play it for months, almost half a year in some cases. And you could say I suck, and that's okay, but the previous game, Horizon Zero Dawn, definitely had its problems in terms of some of the controls and some of the mechanics, and it could be fixed in the new one, but I don't know if the new one is releasing on PS4 because I don't have a PS5, and I don't want to play something like this on last gen. I want to play it on current, next gen, whatever you want to call it. So it didn't get my vote. God of War Ragnarok got my vote, and here is why. Back when the last God of War released, I waited to play it only on Saturdays. And so what my routine was, I would go to work at 7:30 in the morning, be out by 3:30. I would go home to relax a little bit, and then eventually get dinner, and then I'll go drive for Uber because I was an Uber driver back then as well. do Uber Saturday nights, take all the crazy college kids to their parties and stuff. Then on the way home, I'll go to a 7-Eleven, I'll get my candy and my soda and my chips, and I'll go home for a few hours to play God of War. That was my me time. It was like a TV series for me, a weekly release series. And I'm excited for Ragnarok. I'm excited to see what they do with Thor, and maybe we'll get to see Odin, get to see what's going to happen in terms of his son with the reveal from the last game. Spoiler warning that he's going to be Loki, and that his son is indeed Jormungandr, the World Serpent. So I'm excited to see what they do. I've been a God of War fan since the very beginning. That's my most anticipated game. Cannot wait. Although I'm surprised Spider-Man wasn't on this list, because Spider-Man recently had a trailer with more information, such as Venom and Kraven the Hunter and having Miles and Peter. No Spider-Man, unfortunately, for anticipated. Quick side note, if you haven't heard, there is a teaser for the next Spider-Verse movie. I think it's called Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, and there is a interesting character shown in that teaser. So check it out if you haven't, because I was excited when I saw it. Thank you, Frankie, for sending me that, because that was fucking awesome of you, bro. Fucking awesome. Moving on from there. This is a category that I kind of cheated because I didn't play any of these. I only went based off what I heard, and it's for best debut indie game, and I gave it to Kena Bridge of Spirits. I have no idea what Valheim is, or Sable, or The Forgotten City, or The Artful Escape, but I've heard good things about Kena Bridge of Spirits. I don't know what console it's on, I don't know what it's really about, so I kind of cheated on this one, and I voted for Kena just based on what I heard. I heard it looks great, plays great, great story, everything. So from what I heard, that's probably going to win this category anyway. Going on from there, best multiplayer. Again, no idea what Valheim is. I don't know what New World is. It Takes Two. Now, I did play A Way Out, which is the company's previous game. I played it with a friend of mine, and we had a lot of fun playing it. So we were planning to play this one. Hopefully we do soon, but because I didn't play it, I didn't want to vote for it. Knockout City, I played briefly. It was okay. It was okay. Back 4 Blood. I hate it, Back 4 Blood, and my friends are kind of upset because they love it for whatever reason, and they want to keep playing. They just have to play without me because I deleted it. I didn't like it. I made a video about it. If you haven't seen it, check out the video. But I did play, enjoyed, and love Monster Hunter Rise. Yes, there is some problems with the multiplayer, such as the inability to communicate with those players, and I don't know if there's an option to play with the friends that you have on your Switch, because none of my friends had the game. I was the only one that I knew with the game, which is very unfortunate, but it was a great multiplayer experience anyway, when you get to do a quest with 3 different players and you all team up on these monsters. I had moments where I would leave the team to take out another monster to where I can wyvern ride and then bring that monster into the fight and help deal damage on the main monster we're trying to hunt. And it was just a lot of fun and really great moments in this game. So Monster Hunter Rise got my vote for best multiplayer. Best sport/racing game, Forza Horizon 5, without a doubt. I did hear some things about Hot Wheels being a bit limited in terms of features and what you can do. Riders Republic, I don't really know much about it. F1 2021. I mean, the F1 series, in my opinion, don't really compete against Forza. And do I even have to explain why I didn't vote for FIFA? Do I really have to explain that? If you haven't played Forza yet, and you have an Xbox, and you have Game Pass, or you have a PC, and you have Game Pass, what the fuck are you waiting for? Go play Forza. It's amazing. Moving on from there, we are going to do Best Family Game. Now, I did see a previous video. It was from Beat 'em Ups about new Pokemon Snap and whether or not it should be in this category, because it is a family-friendly game, but it's not really a family game. It's a single-player game. And I also had this thought about why is it that Pokemon games never make it into these categories, because if you have enough kids with Pokemon in the family, they could trade and battle with each other and do it with their friends. We had Sword and Shield last year. We never got a category. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl is not a nominee this year. All the Pokemon games before, they never get nominated, and that could change with Arceus next year as possibly RPG of the year or Game of the Year. It may not, but for some reason, I think this is the first Pokemon nominee game aside from Pokken Tournament, maybe. But moving on from that, it really comes down to only 2 choices here for the family game, because It Takes Two, while it is a co-op game, it's only 2 players, whereas a couple of these other games, the real 2 main ones, are 4 and more. WarioWare, I heard a lot of bad things about it. I was never interested in that game. It looks like crap to me, my opinion, whatever. So it really comes down to Mario Party Superstars and Super Mario 3D World. In my opinion, I felt like 3D World got that vote because I did play it with my mother and 2 of my brothers. We did a majority of the game together. I did some of it solo because I wanted to get through the game so I could do the review. But we had a lot of fun. We didn't really fight about who we wanted to play as. I was Mario, one brother was Luigi, one was Toad, my mother was Peach. The only problem was really trying to get to progress together without anyone falling, being left behind, being killed off. But we had a great time playing as a family for the first time in a long time. A lot of games nowadays aren't family friendly. It's single player or online multiplayer. So it was great to have a couch co-op option with 4 players. And that's why I feel like Mario Party 3D World is best family of the year for me. Best fighting game. I threw a vote in for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. I didn't play any of these fighting games. The fighting game genre this year was kind of meh, in my opinion. But All-Star Brawl is kind of like a underdog coming out of nowhere. And I do believe that they can do much more for the sequel to this game. More characters that didn't make the cut. More features. Multiverses is going to have voice acting. So maybe they can do it here. Maybe they can put the Crimson Chin and Crash Nebula. Those would be some cool characters to play as. Maybe Squidward can make the cut in the next game. So I threw that vote in there just to see what would happen. But, it is what it is. Best role-playing game. Now, it could have been, or should have been, Cyberpunk. But, it's not. Plus, didn't it come out last year, not this year? So I guess they just pushed it over for this year. But it's not. I don't need to explain anything about Cyberpunk. You already know. I went with Monster Hunter again because I never been really interested in the Monster Hunter series before, but I did love my time with Monster Hunter Rise, and it did get me interested in purchasing Stories 2, which I did purchase and I did play a bit of it. And I just thought it was a great RPG game, really great role playing. I'm not a fan of Shin Megami Tensei. I don't know what Scarlet Nexus is. I don't know what Tales of Arise is. So it kind of defaulted to Monster Hunter for me. And like I said, it's all my personal opinion on how I feel about these games. So take that as is. Best action adventure game. Now, this is a bit of a tricky one because I don't have a PS5, so I didn't play Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. I have no idea what the Psychonauts series is. I heard great things about Guardians of the Galaxy, but I have yet to try it. So it came down to the 2 games I actually did play to completion, Metroid Dread and Resident Evil Village. And if you don't know, I made a video on Metroid Dread because I am in the minority when I say I hated Metroid Dread. I do not think it's an amazing game. I do not think it's best action adventure game material. I do not think it's game of the year material. And I understand it's controversial to many players. I just didn't enjoy my time with it. There are some other people who didn't enjoy their time with it. So take that information and do what you want with it. But I just did not enjoy Metroid Dread. As for Resident Evil Village, now there was a point in the game where I did not enjoy it. I think it was towards the end when I stopped really enjoying it for different reasons. But for everything before that part, I loved it. It was horrifying. It had me scared. It had me terrified and just hesitant to actually progress because I was afraid of what was going to happen next. I actually didn't get into the series until I played 7, which is bizarre. And then the 2 remake came out and I loved that game as well. 3 remake, not so much. I did play the 1 remaster, which was pretty good. I played 4, which again I made a video about it. Didn't like 4, whatever. I am going through 5 right now. I just haven't played it in a while. And then eventually I can go through 6. I played 6 back in the day when it first released because my brother had it and he wanted me to play with him. So I played a little bit of one of the campaigns. But when I complete 5, maybe I'll go and complete 6 and then see what happens next in the series. But I did love Resident Evil Village, and I can't wait to see what comes out with the DLC, which should be next year. I believe some DLC is coming out. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. Moving on, best action game. Now, I only played one of these games here, which was Back 4 Blood. And again, I hated Back 4 Blood. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. I hated Back 4 Blood. My friends love it. I don't know what they love about it. They've been Xbox players and fans for years. They've played the Left 4 Deads, so I guess this is like nostalgia for them. I didn't care for it. I didn't like it. Made a video about it. Go check it out. Chivalry, not too familiar with that one. Deathloop, I heard some negative things about it. You know, so I didn't. You know, I don't have a PS5, so can't play it. Far Cry 6, I didn't play, but I did hear some good and bad things about it. But I do know the Far Cry series does have some pretty strong games in their franchise, and we had a really great actor here for the main villain. We had Giancarlo Esposito, so it's pretty great to see him still doing. He's kind of typecast now as the villain. He's always playing the villain, Breaking Bad and The Mandalorian, and now this. Returnal, I heard bad things at launch, a lot of crashing and bugs and glitches. I don't know how it is now, but again, PS5 game, no PS5. So I gave it to Far Cry. I do have friends who play it, they enjoyed it, so that's why I gave it that vote. Moving on from there, we're going to do best mobile game. I'm not the biggest mobile game player, but my next video that I'm planning to release is mobile game based, so look out for that. But I did play some of these games here. I think I played all but one of these games here, because I tried League of Legends on PC a few, years ago, but I tried I think it's Fantasian, or however you pronounce it. I tried it briefly, didn't really like it, wasn't for me. Pokemon Unite kind of sucks, a lot of people hated it, a lot of microtransaction bullshit. Marvel Future Revolution, I was excited for that game, and I think it kind of just fell short. I think it overpromised and underdelivered. And there's so many Marvel games on the Android store and the Apple store, iOS, whatever app store. This one just felt like it underdelivered for me. And Genshin Impact, I have played on mobile, and it is, in my opinion, one of the best mobile games out there in terms of content and gameplay and controller support, graphics. Because it is like a console level game on mobile, and there are some other ones that do it too, but I think Genshin Impact is mobile game of the year. It has to be, in my opinion. If Pokemon Unite wins, I don't know, maybe I'll lose faith in humanity. I don't know. Best indie game. Now, despite what I said about Kenna earlier, from the things I've heard, I gave it to 12 minutes because I actually played 12 minutes and I enjoyed 12 minutes. Yes, there were a couple of times where I had to look up what I had to do because either it was unclear to me or I didn't know what I was supposed to do. But there's so many different possibilities of what you could do, and the cast was just amazing. James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe. They were great. It's really great to see those three to be part of such a small project, and I had a lot of fun playing the game. I think it took me like 2 nights to beat it because it's a very short game, but the story was so interesting and so bizarre, and like I said, the voice acting, the casting was just amazing and great. So they got my vote for best indie game. Best ongoing game, it has to be Warzone for me. Now, it is a close contender with Fortnite. I do play Fortnite sometimes, and I spent way too much money on it than I like to admit, but Warzone has been doing it for me better than Fortnite in terms of my friends actually like Warzone and they hate Fortnite, so I don't play Fortnite with them because they don't want to play with me. But we play Warzone, we have fun with it. I've gotten better at Warzone, as I said before, getting better with Call of Duty. And some of the different content that they've released for it, such as the Halloween events, have been great, and some of the special characters like Bruce Willis, and I think Stallone made it in the game as well. Just different action stars and all that made it into the game. And they do different seasons, and they've been changing the maps and everything. So I think Warzone got it for me. Fortnite was a close contender, but I had to give it to Warzone. Moving on, best performance. Now, I gave this one to Maggie Robertson as Lady Dimitrescu. Like I said, I didn't play Deathloop. I heard a lot of bad things about it. So I'm not going to vote for, voice actors from a game that I didn't play. I didn't play the Life is Strange game, so I didn't vote for Erica Mori. And I didn't play Far Cry, but I did hear his performance in Far Cry was amazing. But I had to give it to Lady D. I mean, that is a no-brainer. Give that vote to Lady D. Best audio design. It could have been Resident Evil because of the atmosphere with the horror, the sounds that making you jump and make you really think about whether or not you want to go forward. But I had to give it to Forza. I'm a car guy. I love the way the cars sound when they're on-road, off-road, the engine, the drifting sounds, the sound of the music, the sound of the crowd and the characters. Except for the main character, your character, he or she is kind of plain. But hey, I gave it to Forza, best audio design. Now we're gonna go. I think the next one to really talk about is Game of the Year. Yeah, Game of the Year. So I'm gonna end it with the Game of the Year. And the nominees this year were kind of, you know, I don't think Deathloop has a chance at Game of the Year. I really don't. It Takes Two, possibly. You know, considering what I've heard from it and from the previous game, possibly. Again, I don't know what Psychonauts is. Ratchet & Clank, I didn't play it. I have a friend who is a Ratchet & Clank fan who has a PS5 who loved the game. So maybe I can ask him another day how he felt about Game of the Year contender. But I voted for Resident Evil Village because, again, I really did not like Metroid Dread. And I think Village does have a potential to be Game of the Year. Not to mention we are getting some DLC for Resident Evil Village next year. It could be similar to what we got in 7 or it can be completely different. I cannot wait. Maybe one where we play as Lady D. That'll be an interesting experience. But I think Resident Evil Village did deserve my vote for Game of the Year. Some people were talking about Monster Hunter Rise being a contender. Maybe it could have been a contender. Maybe not. Back 4 Blood, definitely not. Definitely not a contender for Game of the Year. And I noticed how in these categories, Pokemon never gets chosen. They never get Game of the Year nominee or Best RPG nominee. And I'm wondering if that's because they would dominate these nominees. But this could change with Arceus next year. It could be the mainline games won't get nominated, but Arceus might get nominated for Game of the Year for next year. But until that happens, Resident Evil Village is my vote for Game of the Year. And I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a long one, I'm sorry. And like I said, I have been dealing with a lot of busyness before I can actually do more content. But some stuff is coming. So sit tight. I'm Anthony Olan Tech, and I'll see you guys next time.